Great setup, Shady. Bump it on through. Down we go. Express. Stays back. Held in full playing with their competition. A little bit. Jules. Whoa! That was insane. Last season, both of them had experience on the international stage. And there it is. Showcasing from Corsos. We might have a series. You see me. Have to do with CGM. He's taking the ball. Oh my God! What a jacket! Welcome back to League Play week number 3 here at Throwdown. My name is Jake Sturrock Penka. That is Yummy Cheese Man, and that is Courier Lord at the end. We are proudly supported by Macca's, where the Monopoly game of Macca's is back. 1 in 5 will instantly win. I actually won a Big Mac the other day.
Wow.
I won a big. I just want you to know. I got so excited. I took it off my large fries. Right. I took it off. I pulled it out, and I'm like, freaking Big Mac.
That was a 20% chance.
Is it 20%?
Yeah, 1 in 5.
Orange. As we go through, our league players already started off today with a bang. And Legacy getting defeated by Conspiracy Esports was a big shocker there as well. But into our next series, Pale Horse Esports taking on Scylla. And of course, we have to start with our Champions of Play weekly spotlight brought to you by Macca's.
Kami this week is our Champions of Play. He's been absolutely epic for Pale Horse.
Oh, yeah.
He's come out of nowhere from the OCE Championship, where he was a bit of a middle-of-the-road player, and now he's one of maybe the best player in OCE.
Yeah, sought after in 6-mans. Every time this guy gets onto the pitch, you want him on your team because he is someone that can provide goals, offensive pressure, and just a great all-round player.
He's great by himself, seeing these huge goals come out where he just goes it all the way alone, but then he's got big pass plays. We've seen him get the most assists in the off-season. We've seen him get these big plays forward and back.
He's like a wall god. You just stick him over there and you pretty much guarantee pressure or a goal. There's no in between.
The big thing is that he is so fast. Kia puts that out to the middle. He's up to that one first. And that's what you see time and time again. Whenever Kami's on the pitch, he's getting to the ball first.
And that's critical if you need to get those goals. If you can beat everyone up there, that's going to lead to execution. That leads to goals. That leads to games.
He's going to be one of those players that are going to have the most goals at the end of the season, guaranteed. And that is also why we wanted to shine a spotlight in him in the Champions of Play weekly spotlight.
Of course, brought to you by Macca's. And Kami is a legend of all sorts and someone I highlight week by week.
You love him.
Yeah, you do, actually.
Not because he
Why
plays
did you marry him?
He plays a different game as well, but because Pale Horse have been... I mean, it still impresses me to this day that we have a team that came through in the offseason, got to Jam, and now into the championship. They're this big team. They're one of the top teams.
Pale Horse have taken both Avant Gaming and Jam Gaming this season.
Yep.
And now they're left with maybe teams that we weren't expecting. And this is one of those games where we could see another turn on the head, though, with Scylla.
Yeah, that's it. They've beaten an international team in Jam. They've taken out those big top expected to make LAN teams. And now it's just about cleaning up the rest of the Power 6.
They're playing for top 2. They're not playing for top 4.
Yep.
We thought that they would make top 4, and I think right now it looks incredibly likely.
Yep.
But now they're playing for the top 2. They're maybe even playing for top seed.
But both teams have our weekly spotlight. We have Adzi on Scylla. We have now Kami on Pale Horse. Both of these teams have highlight players. So I guess I want to know how Scylla are going to be playing into Pale Horse, considering they have quite similar playstyles.
They have incredibly similar playstyles. In fact, Pale Horse basically replaced Scylla. That's got to be a feels bad and a half, because Scylla had that fast, short passes. Pale Horse are doing it the same, but they've been placing it in where Scylla would normally go.
Yeah, it's like the same but better, because they're not only are they replacing them, the results they're getting in the league play so far and the lead up to it have been better than what Scylla was getting in the seasons before Pale existed.
That's going to be tough for Scylla, especially as Scylla have just missed out on RLCS last season. They got to Game 7 overtime once, like it was a 5-minute overtime.
Yeah.
1 goal to get to RLCS and then another Game 7. And now they have to verse that team that's taken their spot, and they're going to be hungry for revenge.
Surely we're not looking in a mirror, however. Surely we're looking at two similar but different teams. I mean, how do we distinguish Scylla Esports from Pale Horse and really put them in their own spots?
typically the players, the individuals on both of the teams bring a lot of different play. And also the big thing with Scylla is that they've just changed up their roster, and that's hard for them to have that same level of synergy that they used to have.
I think that's an advantage that Pale has. They've played consistently with a 5-man roster, debatably 4, because X-Cause doesn't get as much play as Jules does. They're used to swapping it up, playing on the fly, and they can do that cohesively. But where you see Adzi moving in, where AOEM moved out, there has been a bit of a struggle in adapting.
So is that roster change big enough for you to change your predictions here today?
Oh, my prediction going in was definitely going to be Pale regardless, so roster change or not, Pale all the way.
Okay.
I'm going with Pale as well.
Yep.
I think Pale Horse have performed so well this season. They've come out of nowhere, and they've shown in the past that they can take down Scylla.
I think Scylla have that surprise factor, but I've still been a believer in Pale Horse Esports from what they showed me in the off-season.
Because you like Kami.
That's because I like Kami. Kami, like you said, he's a fly on the wall, except the fly turns into like a bee.
He's closer to Spider-Man, I reckon.
Well,
you can
pretty
put him in the Avengers, or you can just have him run solo.
But either way, Kami is a threat and someone I want to watch coming through. And our weekly spotlight had to highlight. If it didn't highlight him at one point, I would have been upset.
Kami has been such a good player, and he's the cornerstone of the Pale Horse roster. He's always there. He's always consistently at the top, and his two teammates rely on him every single match.
Well, coming into this series between Pale Horse and Scylla, I am going to be asking if we see another upset. We saw one between Conspiracy and Legacy. Different circumstances. If Scylla can make this happen, we're going to have an interesting league play ahead.
Change is, Scylla Esports are the veteran roster here. The fact that they are behind, and what a bump! Kami comes through, but it was the bump by Kia just taking this out. It is the bump meta, ladies and gentlemen.
It's aggressive, it's rough, we like it.
I love it.
First goal for Pale Horse Esports. And Kia may have a question mark in his name, but there's no questions about that goal.
Kia is just setting up so much stuff from last week. He's doing it once again. What a step up from the player on Pale Horse.
And what an early goal to kick things off. CJ hung back, and Kami and Kia putting work forward. Scylla Esports going to be under pressure after this first goal, and when Pale Horse, they get ahead, they just keep driving.
It's going to be tough for Scylla Esports, but as soon as they start getting their passing game, that's when you know they'll be up to speed.
Well, Scylla do have some time to work with here. It's early days yet in game number 1, and misses like that could be an opportunity as Kira comes through, previously known as Snarf. And Scylla Esports still have to find that edge. Great passing coming through here from Pale Horse.
You saw it was so short pass. It was so close to each other. And they just have that synergy to know exactly where they're going to touch it.
Whereas Scylla Esports looks like they're doing really big gaps, and Pale Horse let one through with 3 members in defense.
That's the second time I've seen some bad communication. Pale Horse Esports, they took down the international team. They want to make RLCS. Kami shouldn't be coming across on that. Kia had an easy save.
So, communication, a problem for Pale Horse Esports. Scylla take advantage of that, and they equalize.
That's their big advantage. If Scylla Esports can tighten up a few of their touches here, they can take down Pale Esports.
Yes, Pale Horse.
Pale Horse, as they look to just drive that through.
Scylla equalized. Got some time on the clock. 2 aggressive teams, 2 very fast teams.
Expect a high score game.
Exactly. In pretty much all of our games coming through. CJ lets the ball drop. Dumbo's there to receive. Off the corner, Pale Horse are going to get interrupted by Dumbo again. He's going to dribble the ball. Could be a moment for Scylla Esports, but they just come into contact with CJ and shoring up some of those communication errors. Look like Pale Horse are sort of back in the feeling.
I think that's been the big change for Pale Horse that's made them such a good team, that the fact that they're not just aggressive all the time, they know when to play patient as well.
Yeah, moderation here from Pale Horse Esports has been something that I've been looking at, and I think we've all been looking at, especially for a newer team. It looks so darn good on the pitch. Kia, solo play, gets it past Dumbo. No one's there. It's Kami on the side. He's going to have to pass it back. What does he choose? The answer is it goes into Kira. Everyone's committed. There we go, Scylla Esports. And drive it again.
Yes, you can't 1v1 Dumbo. He is so good in defense against that. And then Kira, the 50-50 god, over to Adzi. pushing that in, and Adzi showing why he's a good addition to this roster.
I mean, was that another communication error from Pale Horse Esports?
No,
Everyone
it was
committed to that ball.
amazing 50-50 from Snarf
I like
Snarf.
it. Even better there from Scylla. Maybe, like you said, shoring up some of those weaknesses for Scylla Esports. And they just find that tempo. Scylla up a goal.
It's great to see Scylla Esports taking it to it. They were the underdogs. They are the veteran team who really you'd expect to win the series, but haven't been doing so far. And it might be a sign that they're starting to synergize.
That's right. They've come so close to RLCS in the past for our first ever season. But Pale Horse, they want to go as well.
Kami just stopped watching that goal, so we didn't get to see it go in, but that's the Kami CJ. CJ pushes forward really hard. He's always aggressive, always looking for that ball, always looking for that goal. And Kami knows the perfect placement.
And behold a Pale Horse. 2 minutes remaining, equalize instantly. Well, Esports have been showing a lot of promise in this first game. However, Pale Horse, what's going on here? The ball just gets left. CJ will clear it up.
As soon as one person misses, everyone starts missing. They all expected the first touch.
Yeah, well, they don't get it. Still up now, trying to get the ball past Kami. That touch is going to be very nice for CJ. Adzi back. And here comes Kira again. The ball drops. They're going to leave it for Scylla.
This is a good opportunity for Scylla. The 1-2, but intercepted. Kami just killing the offense, and this might be a goal.
What a monster. Kami doing so much work. Scylla will respond now, but a couple of shots there from Pale Horse Esports, getting the ball directly down that center. CJ now boosts. He drops over Dumbo. Hits it up. Kami's here. It hits the wall. The wall pass is good, but hit first by Scylla, who are now using this tempo to their advantage.
They know how to get that ball forward. Adzi's the one pushing up for those redirects, and he's so good at them.
Dumbo, this is a great pass. Scylla Esports are kind of reading these plays here. Impressive stuff, and I think we're going to have a tight series coming in.
They're taking turns almost. Pale Horse will get the ball, they'll get a pass or two off, and they'll send it up, but it won't go any further. And Scylla Esports will do the same. The same play styles coming out, the rock versus rock matchup. Maybe it's scissors versus scissors.
Sometimes it wins, sometimes it doesn't. Depends what scissors you're playing with. Scylla, they're playing with sharp ones right now. 15 seconds remaining.
Kira, you don't expect him to take that one high. He should be sinking that one into the open net if they want to get revenge and go back to RLCS.
Kami's waiting on the wall. The fly is there. Doesn't turn into a B. You've got a second. The ball will drop. We're into overtime in game one.
We all predicted Pale Horse, but Scylla have tied this up. It's so much closer than we expected. And the veterancy of the Scylla squad shining through.
The Pale Horse having some good passes here. Kia, really nice positioning to get back as he uses a handbrake and regains that control.
Very quick to turn around on that one. Great mechanics from Kia, who's perfect on the ground.
Kami hits the ball, flicks it back. Kira's there, but leaves it for CJ. And great positioning from Pale Horse means they win game one.
You know that CJ's always going to play aggressive, always going to play forward. And Kira, he's normally so good with his touches. He's normally so good with his defense. But he was the one to panic and hit that back.
And you speak of panic, I mean, that was a bit of a panic from both teams in that game number one. I wasn't expecting it to be that close, but Scylla have shown that we have an interesting series on our hands.
Scylla, I think, doing a lot better. Adzi has really come in to form in this team. They've all started to build that synergy, which is something we were missing with their new Scylla roster at the beginning of the season.
The Pale Horse still showing some of their strengths coming through in that first game.
I felt that Pale Horse really ground that series out. It wasn't, that's why it wasn't dominating. They were just pushing it forward. They were figuring it out. I think game 2 is really going to be the big test for both teams.
I think game 2 might see both teams kind of switch on a little bit more, although they both were...
There were some big mistakes
There
by both teams, but especially Scylla. It's what cost them in the end. That big mistake from Kira. There was a mistake earlier on that led to a goal as well, and they can't afford to it. They need to play perfectly, not just to make it to PAX and to RLCS World Championship, but we want to see these OCE teams play perfectly and win the World Championship.
That's right. This is their chance to really fix any of those mistakes. They have league play. This is their training ground, their proving ground. We have NA and EU viewers. We have people that are going, oh, this team's, okay, they'll do this against the NA teams and the EU teams, but we've proven that already against NA. We've gone through, we've defeated Denial, this time not even in
you already
league
see
play.
there's a lot of improvement here. They're a team that if these guys went to RLCS last season, we would have seen them do the same thing. They would have caused that upset. They would have taken down NA as well, but that's not good enough. We want to see them win.
Yep, training grounds here, but not only that, the PAX final live in front of an audience. You have to shore up these mistakes, get your play locked down, and prove yourself in front of that audience that you're good enough to represent Oceania.
The Dumbo's coming out right at the start, just trying to open up the Scylla defense.
It's a good start here from Pale Horse Esports. Scylla under the pressure a little bit, under the gun. Kia's here. CJ will hit the ball, following it through. Here's Kami. Nice touch. Does it follow through? Kia's back.
Scylla had to respect the shot. It's Kami. He can shoot from anywhere and he'll get a banger in every single time. And that's why the defense weren't quite ready for the pass.
Not only that, I mean, just he's always there. And it's scary. Scylla, open up the defense and find one.
Kira, another intercept. He knows where these players are going to hit the ball. It was actually a pass out from Adzi.
Nice touch from Adzi there.
Perfect. That's why he knew exactly where to be. He knows how Adzi plays now.
So impressed with Scylla, and that they get that one goal and they have these great plays. I'm still just worried about those mistakes. That one mistake that Pale Horse find themselves
Well, on the
top
same note, one mistake, it's excusable.
Yep.
It's right at the beginning of the series. They haven't warmed up. I'm going to expect a lot less mistakes and big plays like that.
Pale Horse getting these bumps in the net, setting themselves up again. Kia around the corner, Kami's back. CJ in defense. Dumbo's pushed through.
Dumbo holding this one forward, but it's going to be back and forth once again. Looking for these quick passes, looking for these big redirects, and Kami actually intercepted the redirect.
Pale Horse missing a couple of these balls. Kia just flies up and whiffs it completely. CJ leaves the ball open for Scylla Esports, and Dumbo, he's pushed through. He gets the demolition in front of the net, sets it up. Adzi's there, hits it to the other corner.
They're so close to getting that goal number 2 and taking the series back.
No.
This should be it. Adzi, no!
Everyone just whiffs the ball. Scylla and Pale Horse Esports alike.
Just going a little bit too fast, looking to get this attack on. As Scylla are setting up such good attack, setting up so many players in front of the net, and Pale Horse, they're not used to getting this pressure from Scylla.
I think we'll be really confident in the attack of Scylla Esports, and it just does not stop. Hitting the backboard. 1, 2. Dumbo set it up. The third. No way, Jose. Kami's there. The ball's in front of net. Kia hits it down. The question mark still eludes me, and so does the goal.
The goal is needed, but they're not able to keep up the pressure. Pale Horse get counterattacked on immediately, and that is not what we normally see. Scylla Esports have found out how to beat Pale Horse, something that both Jam and Avant couldn't do.
And something that will be watched here with scrutiny. Scylla Esports are up 2 goals, and Adzi each time has made fantastic passes.
Everybody wants to know how to beat Pale Horse right now, and Scylla are doing it. The Oceanic region, the players from down here are going to be watching this game and saying, oh, this is how you beat Pale Horse.
This needs to be known. Scylla Esports doing good in game number 2. Could just equalize to 1 apiece. Pale Horse struggling a little bit. Scylla getting back into defense. Still trying to see the demolitions, the adaptation that both teams have made. A lot of these OCE teams getting very aggressively with these bumps and these demos alike.
Bumps have been good. It's become the meta of the day after this new patch.
Yep.
We're going to have to see. Normally Pale Horse are usually the best at those bumps, but they're not taking advantage of them right now.
Looks like the Pale Horse we know. Scylla Esports up 2 goals. This is worrying, however. 3 in defense. They're going to go for the dribble. Kia. Here we go. The pass for CJ. The backboard. The follow through. Kami does it. Or CJ. I thought he was going to hit it out.
He almost saved that. That was so greedy. He didn't need to touch it. But of course, CJ was like, oh yeah, my goal. I need these points. Oh my goodness. Why?
That was so close. But they get the goal.
Please.
Yummy. They get the goal, though.
It was such a good setup. It was such a good three-man pass play. The one across the backboard and the third. Having a heart attack.
Oh, no. Here we go again. Pale Horse have just found themselves with a net that's dissipated by Scylla Esports. Key is there. Ball stolen away by Kira. CJ hits it. Adzi responds. Demo into goal. Pale Horse have stepped this one up, and the ball does not look like it wants to get out of this half. Dumbo jumps up and finally will help with the counter-attack.
Scylla Esports so solid in defense right now. They've had multiple opportunities where they could have sent multiple people at the ball, but they're comfortable with each other. They trust each other, and most importantly, it seems that their communication is on point.
Apart from CJ jumping through and being greedy,
I'm talking about Scylla.
No,
Scylla's communication is on point.
I just want to keep talking about CJ. They are. You're right. Let's come back to that. Scylla.
What? I don't think CJ knew that net was open.
Well, another mistake or potential one of that. Pale Horse have 30 seconds, but Scylla may have just opened this up again. Everyone rotating through. Pale Horse, three-man unit in front of this net. Maybe going to try and dribble this up the field. Play the last play with 15 seconds remaining.
10 seconds, and Kami's on the ball. That means there might be a goal in the next few seconds. And Scylla Esports, they need to hold on. They're going to apply the pressure. One last chance for Pale Horse.
Okay, Kami hits the ball. It's nice. It's great. Kia
No
backboard.
way.
CJ lobs it and saved by Dumbo.
Dumbo in the nick of time in defense. That shot could have been stronger. It was saved out by Dumbo, and they hold on and tie up the series.
That means 1-1. Scylla Esports found that weakness to Pale Horse. Pale Horse fired back, but it was only in the later portion of that game, and we have to question what Pale Horse were doing at the start.
Scylla Esports look hungry.
They do.
We know that they were hungry. They've talked to us before and said, we are not happy unless we make it to the RLCS World Championship. We're not satisfied with how we went last season, missing out by 1 goal. And this is their first step. If they take down Pale Horse, that puts them in such a good position because they've also taken down Legacy.
That's right. Even if they get to the PAX finals, I mean, they
They're
ran the
veterans.
marathon. They ran the marathon last time. Then the championship, 14 games they played.
In a row.
All best-of-7 series in a row. 1 goal. Twice, I believe, they came so close to getting into RLCS. So this, for them, is just really the redemption story starting up.
They need to, as well, get to the PAX because they all have veteran experience at LANs. They are all teams, or all players that can perform. Even Adzi, he wasn't there last season in the OCE Championship, but he's been at big LANs before. He's been at PAX as well.
And, I mean, Adzi is a great player. To sit into this roster, Scylla Esports, I think, are adapting quite nicely. In the change out from AoE Emp to Adzi. Adzi, with his passes, these setups, really working out for Scylla.
Adzi's big one is the redirects. He's getting up there high on the wall, and Scylla are getting the ball straight to him.
Now, as we go into Game 3, Scylla Esports have something to prove that they found the weakness of Pale Horse, and not just one game has passed, and they find their luck. CJ, really nice pass. Kami comes in, Dumbo over the top. Scylla pushing through here, and they may have just found the net open. Who's there? CJ with the save. Adzi will find the demo.
Adzi has been getting a lot of forward pressure here. Just managing to get demos, big redirects. It's putting Pale Horse on the back foot, and you never see them back at the back of the defense.
Yeah, near that net, so defensively, might not work out. Kia waiting in the midfield. We can see Kami is just going to leave the ball as well. Dumbo off of the wall will center it. Scylla Esports, great shot, but Kami's back.
That's just going to put pressure on the net, and you see it move forward. Pale Horse, they need to maintain their boost and get this out because Scylla Esports are going to get quick counterattacks going.
CJ still passing the ball upfield, and Scylla finally back on the defense. Great hit from Kia. Pale Horse trying to push forward. This is good, but Kami, he's the one you have to watch out for. The centers, the passes. He's on point.
He hasn't been given the opportunities this game. He's still playing consistently, and right now, 1 and 2, Dumbo all the way through.
And I tell you what, Scylla are finding these gaps.
This
Look
is
at
Kira.
that.
Kira has the most assists by far in league play at the moment, and this is why. Those passes out, you don't expect him to get such angles.
More beautiful stat padding from Scylla Esports Kira. And Snarf, now known as Kira, is just on point. Scylla have a goal, but it's not enough against Pale Horse. Balls keep getting closer and closer to that net, and we've got 3 minutes 30. Pale Horse can still work with this time. The expected team, we predicted, all three of us, Pale Horse would be taking this convincingly. Now I'm not so sure.
No, I don't think so. Scylla have the hold of this series by a long margin right now. They're not allowing Pale Horse to get shot after shot, which is what we normally see.
Look, the ball just will not escape this side of the field. Pale Horse are getting big clears, but it's getting sent right back, and they have so much control of this boost right now. Carmine comes in and intercepts and at least steals one away, but Pale Horse looking a little bit under fire here against Scylla.
And I think they're just uncomfortable. They need to get these passes back. They need to be looking for each other. A great bump attempt opens up the net, and CJ flies past. So does the two defenders.
No.
Adzi has the open net.
Scylla, 2 goals up. But Pale Horse Esports to go down. Today's league play would just be thrown out the window. We only have 4 series, but I tell you what,
I love it.
it's just
It's so close
flipping.
right now in OCE. The competition is so tight. We had our expected winners. We had Pale Horse, who themselves said, oh yeah, we're here through to the PAX finals now. We've made it after those first 2 weeks and the results that they got.
Nothing's set in stone.
Nothing's set in
especially
stone.
Not at the moment, when Pale Horse are just scrambling to make a play happen. Scylla, they take this series. If they take just this game, expectations are going to be running rampant.
I love it. Even Scylla didn't think they were going to make it. I spoke to Kira. He's like, oh, we're not going to make PAX. That's fine. No, they are on the ball. They are on the board 3 times.
This is going to hurt for Pale Horse Esports. If Scylla take this game, which at the moment with 2 minutes and the way that possession has been taken by Scylla, we could be seeing a big series.
Even Chiefs didn't look this dominant.
Oh yeah.
Against Pale Horse, Chiefs ran it through, but it was a fairly close series. Now, Scylla Esports are just on fire. Kira in the midfield, Dumbo in defense, Adzi with the attack. They can't do any wrong.
Feels like the Scylla we saw against Legacy. This feels like the Scylla that took it against Legacy.
And it's that mistake in game 1. We said, maybe these mistakes are too much. They're not making mistakes now. They're warmed up.
Exactly right. Pale Horse, again, just trying to find this opening. Scylla are not giving an inch to one of the top squads.
Well, Pale Horse are giving Scylla a mile at now, and they have to. Look at them stuck in defense. Panicking. They have no boost. Scylla Esports
What
is
a
carrying
squad.
this through, getting these passes across, and even now they're still in attack.
And they're playing with time here. They'll even
Wow.
take another one. 4 goals.
This is just run away. Scylla Esports, they've won game 2. So game 3.
Well, no.
They have won game 2
They've
as
won
well.
2 of their games.
This is, I don't see Pale Horse coming back in this game after this domination, and they're going to have to be sitting here thinking, what do we do? How do we bring back this entire series? The series that we thought, and by we I mean Pale Horse,
And
they thought that they would just win.
we all thought. We thought this was going to be crushing for Scylla Esports.
I don't think crushing. I just think we all thought
More
that
crushing than it
Pale
is.
Horse had the favorites, that it was going to be a good series, but Scylla Esports still have that veterancy over the top of them.
That's right. And that experience is showing work here. But, you know, the on-off of Scylla Esports, wouldn't even comment on it right now. Dumbo will find another one. That's number 5. And going into game number 4.
When you have a series this important,
Boy.
it's so hard to keep the nerves. Scylla have been playing for so long. Dumbo, since the very beginning of Rocket League in OCE, when you've played that long, nerves don't affect you.
I'm now questioning as we go into game 4. I mean, Scylla have just taken this. That's a sure thing right now. I'm questioning how we look at our game 4 because Scylla Esports, they take this game.
This is where they're thinking and talking to each other about game 4. They've got 30 seconds. They've already chalked up this game as a loss. So they're
right.
saying, what do we need to do to take down Scylla the way that they're playing? And it's hard to tell because Scylla are just putting Pale Horse on the back foot. They're making them panic. What a goal by CJ.
Cute, but that one goal will at least put Pale Horse into some
He
kind of...
needed to be doing that all game.
Yeah.
What I liked is just how well he held on to this ball. He's been doing the dribble pack number 2 by French Fries, who is also from OCE.
But Yummy, we need to come back to the task at hand. Has Scylla broken
That's 2
Pale
kickoffs
Horse?
in a row that have just gone through.
Scylla broken Pale Horse?
To a degree in this game, definitely. They've held them on the back foot. That is not where Pale Horse like to be. It's just like how Conspiracy changed up their style to be more aggressive, and it didn't work out. Well, Pale Horse are being forced into a different style. They're being forced to be defensive, and they don't like that.
They have one more game separating them from a win against Pale Horse. They've taken down Legacy already.
1 shot from Pale Horse. 1 shot. They averaged the most shots per game in the league.
Not anymore.
Not anymore, no. They had 1 shot. Haven't seen that level of domination until week 1 of this competition.
This is devastating for Pale Horse, but you have to look at the excitement of Scylla Esports
Wow.
now. A squad that has just turned up on the day. It's the middle of league play. We're at the halfway point.
With Scylla winning this one as well, it keeps the competition even tighter. We've got 5 teams tied at the beginning of the day, all on first place, with just a few games separating 1 game. Not a few games. It was 1 game between 2nd and 3rd, and they all had the same down to 5th.
That's right. Now I just don't know which way is up.
Well, now is Scylla taking down this. Conspiracy are now moved up into that same win ratio as everyone else. Legacy stay at that same win ratio, and it's just Jam Gaming who are ahead. And now Scylla are looking to jump from 5th spot all the way up to equal 1st.
We're going to find out, ladies and gentlemen. Game number 4. Can Scylla keep this up?
I think that they can. You already see them taking it into the defense, and Pale Horse, the problem is they clear it every time. They're not getting those big defensive passes.
They wanted to shore it up, and Pale Horse Esports take this to game 5. They've got to restructure themselves. Kami has just left it on open, and Scylla are having their shots. There's the first one already. The second one going to be set up for Adzi, who gets the demolition.
And
who
you have
gives
to
it
say,
to Kira?
these shots are amazing, and look at the angles. Dumbo in the top right corner. That is the big setup by Kira right at the beginning, who got the angle across and then came back in to get that pass. The fact that Dumbo got around that ball was difficult, but Kira has been on fire.
He made it look so easy. Scylla Esports off the bat. 1 goal. This could be the defeat.
I have to point out, Kira just keeps getting in the way. He keeps intercepting every pass, keeps getting his big 50-50s and setting it up. We saw him make a mistake in game 1. He's not making any anymore.
Dumbo's just dribbled the ball. This is another play from Scylla Esports with so much control. Pale Horse are scrambling again.
And you see them all in the same spot. Because they're pushed into that back spot where they like to push forward, they like to always play aggressive. They're actually playing aggressive on defense and getting in each other's way.
Look at this attack. It just keeps struggling into Pale Horse's side. And Scylla are finding this possession over and over, being creative with their style. Kami gets bumped out of the way. The ball is slowed, and Scylla are still finding their way to control this game.
Demos are going to be good for Pale Horse, and I expected a lot more of them. If they can pick it up now, they still have a very good chance in the series, but they need to get the next goal because it's been so long without them scoring.
That's right, Pale Horse need that confidence boost. A good shot by CJ, but cleared away by Kira. The ball will drop back in front of him again, leaves it for Adzi, and Scylla are back on this defense, so maybe an opportunity for Pale Horse to intercept and find those challenges.
There's also good patience from Scylla, as you saw the Pale Horse going for those big plays that you just put you in a scary position, and they just played it out. They just played it patient.
He is there. Great shot under goal. Hits a crossbar.
Perfect placement. Kia, top bar and down all the way. And he's tied up the game for his team.
What a shot. Look at that.
Unsavable. If it hit the backboard, whatever. If it went a bit lower, savable. But that was just brilliant.
That puts Pale Horse back into the game. 3 minutes remaining. See what Scylla have to do.
And Pale Horse, if they can just keep this going forward and keep up some pressure, we'll be seeing a lot more goals like that.
Kami? Kami! What the heck?
I wasn't even expecting this. So Kami gets it past 1. He gets it past the 2nd and actually fumbles it a little bit there, but the recovery is perfect. The angle is so tight, and Kami has just brought this series back.
And Pale Horse Esports, now that's going to be the morale that they were looking for. Scylla definitely not down and out, but different mob now. Kira's going to set this ball up and at least try and find another goal with Scylla. Push themselves back into this game. We're going to see a very tight game 4.
They're right back in this game, but Adzi, they've been willing to take those big risky dunks up front if they've got their 2 players behind, and it's working out so far.
The ball comes back over to Adzi. Dumbo's there. This is a good pass. Kira meets with Kia mid-air. Dumbo setting it back up for Scylla Esports, but Kami, he's giving it over to Kia, and Pale Horse definitely back in the series.
Oh my god, what a redirect. This is 3 just so amazingly placed goals coming out from Pale Horse. There was no way I thought he was going to get that redirect. He gets it in, he gets it fast. Kia's got 2 goals, Kami 1, and it's been the Kami-Kia show. And CJ, he's actually the highest scorer in our competition, and he's just playing it back now.
Yummy, didn't we say, as the attempted double tap comes through, did we not say that Pale Horse, every single goal was like, I didn't think they were going to get that. I didn't think they were going to get that. All 3 of those goals have been the Pale Horse show.
Yeah, I didn't think Kami was going to get the dribble.
No.
Kia I didn't think would get the redirect.
The crossbar
and
angle.
If Kia didn't get that first massive shot, then it might have been savable, but they've been on point this one game. They need to hold it for 3 games in a row, though.
That's right. I like how Scylla Esports are not really giving an inch, however, they're still pushing up. Pale Horse brought themselves back into a series and will go to game 5 at this rate.
This is the adaptation because Scylla, they're still doing what they were before. They're still getting that pressure. But now, Pale Horse are dealing with it, and they're getting those solo plays and those big passes up the pitch to give them more of a shot.
It was looking great for Scylla. It was looking like it could just be that 3-1 that no one expected. But for now, Pale Horse are pushing the limits.
That's a typical Kami shot, but typically you'd see Kami sink that one in.
Pale Horse back into defense, 2 goals up, looking comfortable. Scylla going to be forced to game 5 at this rate. He's trying to push up. Another goal for Pale Horse would just lock it in, but Scylla, because they're so fast, because they're so aggressive, anything could happen in 40 seconds.
Scylla are still hungry for this goal.
Oh boy.
Pale Horse, dangerous, but it's not going to be fighting them right now.
It does work out for them. Scylla Esports, great setup again. Passing plays still looking good.
The passing plays from Scylla, they've been great all series so far. CJ, another solo play. Kia's leaving that one.
Yeah.
I think he thought that Kami would be coming in from behind, but they don't want to risk this 2-goal lead, and it doesn't look like it's going to go anywhere with 7 seconds to go.
What a change of pace for Pale Horse Esports in Game 4. We go to another Game 5, and Scylla still have the same feeling about them. Nothing seems to have changed, but Pale Horse have stepped up to the occasion, and now it's neck and neck.
Now it's a series, the second Game 5 series in a row. Big plays from Pale Horse. They got massive solo and pass plays coming out.
Yeah.
One thing I have to ask about Pale Horse, really, is can they make sure that they are converting those big plays every time? They had a 100% conversion rate, or maybe 75 if you count that one that hit the backboard from Kami on big plays. But they're not just winning by being standard. They have to step up. And the question in Game 5, can they keep playing at that massive level? That was a level that would win games against any team.
We should be seeing that from Pale Horse, however. But it's just, I feel like a broken record saying maybe it's inconsistency. You know, like we always bring that out.
It's not inconsistency. It's Scylla putting them in an uncomfortable position, and it's taken them so long to get back and figure out how they play that because they're not used to it. I've never seen Pale Horse held on the back foot for so long before.
What a testament to Scylla Esports to actually be forcing Pale Horse into this corner.
It's showing that Scylla Esports may not have been replaced by Pale Horse.
Yeah.
Off-season results aside, where Pale Horse took down Scylla in the semi-finals, and they've taken them down multiple times since, Scylla Esports have come back, they've shown that they are that team, and if they are that same team as last season, that means they are 1 inch away from RLCS.
This is the journey, this is the start, and the means to an end in Game 5 between Pale Horse and Scylla.
We do need to see how the start of this series go. We expect to see Scylla holding on the pressure and getting rid of a lot of this boost from Pale Horse. But can Pale Horse just get a big goal?
I mean, this could be a setup. Adzi doesn't have full control. Dumbo recovers it. Kia was in there trying to find those weaknesses and shore through that first goal. This first goal's been a big drive today. It has meant such a difference for these teams. Scylla have a shot. Kia and Kami and
double
CJ.
Bump. Wow, just took out both at the same time, drilled them into the back of the net, and Scylla have picked up the aggression. They're still going for bumps. They get another one.
Dumbo setting it up. Scylla pushing forward. It's neck and neck here in game 5. Shots after shots. Dumbo to recover. Drops the ball.
What an angle and what a save by Pale Horse. To read that, I wouldn't have expected Dumbo to even be able to hit it down there, but they knew.
But I wouldn't have expected half the shots we've seen in this series, Yummy. But they happen anyway.
This is definitely a series to remember, especially considering the mistakes in Game 1. The fact that these two teams have picked it up so hard just shows how good Oceanic Rocket League is right now.
And how much these teams are developing. I mean, they are adapting in the series, and that's what's important. Not adaptation.
It's really hard to adapt.
Yeah.
It's really hard to change your playstyle and make it work. Scylla Esports, they're comfortable in theirs. They know they can win with it. And it's showing they've still got the pressure.
Pushing forward, 3 minutes 20, no goal yet, but a couple of shots from both teams. Adzi comes through, misses the opportunity, but he's not done yet, not even demoralized. Dumbo recovers. Kia back and forth. And Kami is going to help out with his defense. Pale Horse are getting aggressed on by Scylla Esports.
Adzi going for some crazy angles, but the fake from Dumbo is going to open up the net and just set up more. Able to place so much pressure on Pale Horse still. Shots going on.
Scylla are not letting this ball clear. It's not even getting past midfield. Adzi's going to drop it in. Kami's back in defense.
The big thing is Pale Horse have been able to get the boost. They've been getting those corner boosts, and that's going to allow them to just defend the entire time. Scylla need to drain out all their resources.
Kami trying to play mind games. They finally get it out. Kami setting up the play. Adzi through the midfield. Kia gets back. CJ has responded and rotated. The ball's dropped down. A big miss from Scylla, but not capitalized by Pale Horse with 2:20 remaining.
Scylla are great at communicating when they don't have a great touch and just leaving it. Not going for the touch or just missing it, often on purpose. And it works out in their favor every time because they are so good at talking to each other.
Big push from Pale Horse Esports, however, as the two members go back and defend. CJ will get the clear up, and Kami, not sure where he is at the moment, but off the backboard, they leave it for CJ. Unfortunately, we'll just go near that corner boost.
And there's no passes right now from Pale Horse. They're just looking to pepper the backboard and drain Scylla. It's not a bad style, considering Pale Horse's aptitude at taking shots.
1 minute 30, however, it is so close here, Yummy. We have a game 5.
That's a Kami pass if I've ever seen one.
That's a good Kami pass. Expecting a little bit more, but Scylla, they've brought it right back, and we have to be careful here. CJ doesn't really get it clear. He just sets it up for Adzi, who misses. Kira, off the backboard again. Dumbo jumps up. Kia's going to be there first. Finds the second touch and a bit more control, but Scylla getting down this side of the field. This is going to be big.
This is the change Scylla needed. They're getting it high. They're getting it in places where Pale Horse have to use the boost. Unfortunately, Dumbo rotated back because there was an opportunity there for them to capitalize.
Dumbo playing patiently. Ball gets past him, but
nobody wants to let this goal in.
Yep, that's right. It's a minute remaining. That goal, Yummy, that is the difference between life and death potentially down the road. And Kami says it's going to be death on the Pale Horse.
That is what we see from Kami over and over again. Kia the pass out. He's up to this so quick. He gets the angle, and this time it's not the backboard. That is a Kami goal. That's his signature.
That could be everything for Pale Horse. One goal. And Scylla Esports now in strife. They have 45 seconds to change their fate. But Pale Horse are punching through. They have confidence now. Is it enough?
This is sometimes one of those hardest times to defend as well. When you're 1 goal ahead, 30 seconds in a game 5 and everything is on the line, it can cause a lot of panic. You see already 2 people going for the ball in defense because they don't want to get scored on.
Kami drops the ball. Kira comes through. Scylla Esports, 20 seconds. To get a goal would mean we go to overtime. Kia dribbles. Adzi responds. CJ looking to make Game 5 Pale Horses. It's been the story of Scylla Esports here, but how will they end it? Dumbo reads it nicely and scores overtime.
Dumbo was so desperate for that goal, and Kami thought, okay, I'll just keep this away from the net. It's the panic we talked about. He said, okay, if I just keep this on the left-hand side of my goal, Dumbo cannot score. But no, Dumbo finds the angle.
And we're going to count down with this ball landing on the ground. Nerve-wracking for these teams with Pale Horse.
Game 5 overtime, Hysterics. Game 5 once again. These teams are so tight. The same play style matching up, the same skill matching up. These two teams are almost the same.
Oh, the faded breath I'm awaiting there. Pale Horse playing with fire, but Scylla, they've brought this back. Game 5 overtime. This could be the series that the team looks back on and says, this is why we didn't get into our PAX finals. This is what cost us.
Could cost us not just PAX, but RLCS as well. Both of these teams would be the first time for them to go to RLCS. Both of them want it so badly. So they're both looking to take this into a career.
Dumbo clears the ball back. Scylla Esports playing with fire. Pale Horse are under fire themselves here. Kami in defense, saving it away. Pale Horse, this would be the upset.
Oh.
Not created just yet. Adzi waiting on the wing there, Yummy.
Scylla have had multiple opportunities right now. They've had 2 shots that could have gone in.
Oh, they've
and
done
no
it!
one does. Dumbo in the top left corner. Scylla Esports have done it. Another upset today.
Number 2. First it was Conspiracy Esports. Now it's Scylla Esports. Our predictions are no longer necessary. Throw them out the window with Pale Horse because Scylla have just pushed themselves up.
And Scylla were the team that thought they couldn't make it. They thought they wouldn't go into the top 4. Well, now they are in such a good position. They took down Pale Horse, who we thought, after their win against Jam, were the number 2 team.
This has blown everything out of the water, career. This is 2 upsets in a day. Your heart can't take it. I know that's what you were going to say. But Scylla Esports now, they're up there.
My throat was like closing up from anxiety, from empathy from watching that game. My heart is going a million miles an hour.
Yep.
And yeah, congratulations to Scylla for just coming through with that big win.
Scylla were able to get a Game 5 overtime win. That's the sign. That's the sign. They had 7 games last time. They went to this Game 7 overtime and they couldn't close it out. Well, now they can.
And the contrast as well, because it was Dumbo after that big loss last season that was devastated, and then for Dumbo to get that 4-second goal into the overtime and then get the goal after the overtime, that would feel good.
You got to feel bad if you're Kami, the one that could have just hit that across the net, got to made a slight mistouch.
That was it.
And that was it. That was what gave Dumbo the goal.
But Dumbo came through. I mean, saw that opportunity. Like any player, you could say, in the OCE league play would find that and commit to that. But Dumbo just being in the right place at the right time.
He knew there was 4 seconds. It's a show of experience that he's been in that situation so many times before. He has 5,000 hours in the game. He's been in that situation so many times that he said, okay, the only way we can win right now is if Kami does this one thing and I play for him to do this one thing. And he did the one thing.
Yeah, good players play to their outs.
What a show of series, though, from Scylla Esports in the games 1 and 2. Bit back and forth of like, oh, this is Pale Horse, just doing Pale Horse things. And then game 2 was the Scylla show, baby. We turned on, they turned up. And it was so back and forth, that series, so close. But Scylla really brought their A game.
They knew how to take down Pale Horse once they saw them in game 1.
Yeah, there was moments in the first 2 games. So the first game, Kami was having a lot of trouble. Both of the goals by Scylla was him missing a play critically that led to a big Scylla goal. And then similarly in the second game, we saw CJ, and Kia have a similar thing. So it took a bit of time for Pale Horse to hit their stride.
I want to bring up boost management before we do go to our next series. I want to bring up boost management from Scylla because they were dominating most of the field in a lot of those games there. And Pale Horse were kind of on the back foot. They didn't have any boost to commit. They were just kind of strangleholded by Scylla Esports.
Well, Pale Horse were able to get a lot of boost in defense, and that's how they were able to hold on. but they shouldn't be in defense. They're Pale Horse.
Okay.
They should be in attack. They should be hitting goal after goal, and they should be the ones starving of boost.
And winning the 50-50s. That's something they always do. They do the big, aggressive jumps that if they make it, they get a goal play. And if they don't, their team is ready to support them and get there from behind.
Huge props to Scylla, or to Kira in particular, who is able to just hold that midfield so well to get a lot of dunks, a lot of 50-50s that set up the attack.
Yeah, but here in week 3 of league play, we've just created another upset. Well, Scylla did that for themselves, taking the win over Pale Horse Esports. However, if you guys are interested, we have pro and amateur tournaments running at the moment on throwdowntv.gg, especially our community night coming up. However, next, we've got another great series. Chief taking on Noisy Isn't Toxic. We've seen upsets today already. I don't want to call anything big, but I tell you what, I'm excited for the next series. Don't go anywhere. We'll see if it happens next.